Oswald Fiddlebender. Not only does this card have a fun name, it also has a pretty serious ability. Oswald Fiddlebender reads, Magical Tinkering. 1 white, tap. Sacrifice an artifact. Search your library for an artifact card with mana value equal to 1 plus the sacrificed artifact's mana value. Put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Activate only as a sorcery. Do you remember when a bear was a bear? A 2-2 that was, well, a 2-2, and that was enough? Well, that just doesn't cut it anymore. Right away, the main comparison is Birthing Pod, a green artifact with a Phyrexian mana cost that puts a creature from your library straight into play. Because it's an artifact, it doesn't suffer summoning sickness. Any card that searches up artifacts and puts them into play is pretty powerful, and there's a lot of potential for this card to cause a stir. For example, Transmute Artifact is considered a very powerful card. However, the target enters play right away, instead of having to wait a whole round like with Oswald Fiddlebender. Both cards require you to sacrifice an artifact, but Transmute Artifact is about 100 times more expensive to buy. Tinker is another similar card. You sacrifice an artifact to get any artifact into play from your library, but without the cost restriction. In fact, Tinker is so powerful that it has been banned. Speaking of banned cards, Hullbreacher's recent banning makes me wonder if Oswald was supposed to be blue, but after the Hullbreacher's banning they changed it to white. It's a popular opinion that Hullbreacher could have been printed as a white card instead of blue, as Hullbreacher is inherently more powerful as a blue card and Oswald would be too. I imagine there'll be some decks that pair Oswald with red to combo with Goblin Welder, taking advantage of the artifact going to the graveyard and using Welder to bring them back into play. Goblin Engineer would go nicely in this deck as well. Keeping in mind, when building a deck around Oswald Fiddlebender, mana cost of the artifact will need to be considered. Because this card is focused on searching your library, just like Profane Tutor, you will want to have safeguards against anti-library searching measures. The community is pretty excited for this card, and at the time of recording there has been a limited availability on Card Kingdom and Star City games. There are several different versions of this card. I find it hard to say which edition will be the best to buy. Perhaps buying more than one edition to hedge your bet is a good strategy. At the time of this recording, Oswald Fiddlebender is worth $2.86 according to MTG Goldfish. I could see it doubling over time, and I would be surprised to see it drop lower than it is now, but anything is possible when trading in Magic the Gathering. Thanks for joining me today and discussing these cards on Spec Sheet. If you enjoyed this content, share with a friend and subscribe so you don't miss out on further episodes.